Hello, eRank. Welcome to another live eRank Q&A with me, Pam Duthie, and her, whichever side that side, Starla Moore. I don't even know if I'm pointing the right way after the camera flips, but anyway.
A mystery
So,
every time.
yay. So every Thursday we are live in the Facebook group and in the eRank YouTube channel. So you can ask us all your pressing Etsy and eRank related questions. I think we have got quite a lot of questions
Oh,
already,
yeah.
so you better get them in early if you want to get answered today.
Yeah, so we've got a lot already submitted over on YouTube for everybody who got their questions in. And we also have a lot on our Wednesday post. So for those who are joining us for the first time, if you want to get your questions in early, that way you can cut the line, or if you're worried that you're not going to be able to watch these when they premiere, you can always watch the replay and make sure your questions get answered by joining the eRank group. If you're on YouTube, that's linked down in the video description, and going to the very top of the eRank group on Wednesdays. There is always going to be a pinned post up there from Pam where you can get your question in early. And we have a lot of those. So for those of you who are over on YouTube, we will make sure that we get to you as soon as we get through. Maybe we'll do a couple of these and then we'll bounce to the ones on YouTube since they submitted them before we even went live. So
Yeah, I think, yeah, we've had people sitting here for quite a while, so yeah, awesome.
perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the ones on Facebook. Then we'll do some bouncing around over to YouTube. Let's see. Judy asked, what is the best strategy for getting views on a brand new listing? Should you pay for ads for a bit? Should you put the item on sale to attract more attention at first? Ooh, so down to personal preference, but I think that Pam and I, we can give what we would do. Pam, do
Yeah,
you want
differing
to?
views. Well,
Yeah.
well, my first thing, if you're not getting views, I wouldn't be jumping for a sale because if nobody's seeing you, they're not going to see your sale. Sales are generally, if you have a lot of people following you and they're not buying, they can be like a tipping thing. But if nobody's seeing you, they're still not going to see you with a sale. Um, Starla's way better at all the social media stuff than me. I'm more patient than it. I plan out my keywords and the photos I'm going to use and everything, make the best listing that I can, and publish it. Occasionally I'll do ads, but they're not my favorite thing in the world. But basically, I prefer to look into the data and everything. So I don't worry about what views they get to start with, pushing extra views. I just let them sit and then come back to them in a month and see what happened, and then plan my next strategy even better so that hopefully the next lot of listings that I publish do even better. But I know Starla is much better at driving traffic for her new lines and everything.
Yeah. So in this kind of, I can knock out a couple of the questions that we had on YouTube just through this question from Lenore and Abdullah. Lenore had asked about opinions on paying for Etsy ads versus paying for Google ads, Facebook, Instagram ads, yada, yada. What I always say is that if you have something that isn't already doing well, putting ad money beside or behind something that isn't already doing well is not going to make that thing do well. You should focus on, especially with a new listing, like you had mentioned, Judy. With a new listing, first of all, you haven't built up a listing quality score for that's like your good track record with Etsy, where Etsy's able to say, okay, people are finding this listing organically in search. People are, they're buying this listing and they must really like it because they left 5-star reviews. So now we need to recommend this listing to more people. And Abdullah over on YouTube asked how to rank products on Etsy. Ranking on Etsy comes with a lot of different factors. So when you first list your product on Etsy, you get a slight boost in search automatically. And that is so Etsy can kind of study that listing and how people engage and interact with it. And when people positively interact with that listing by, finding it while shopping, favoriting it while shopping, purchasing it, leaving a good review, those are all positive signals that help that listing to rank in search. Now, when you list something brand new, like I said, you get that little boost, which can help you. But what I like to do and what I recommend when you list something brand new because it's in this kind of fluid, wishy-washy state where it's going to be bouncing all over the place, and Etsy's really going to be, watching it to see how people like it before they decide if they're going to show it to a lot of people or not. I like to, you know, drive some traffic to that listing myself to try to encourage people to buy it. I'm big on social media marketing. Instagram, I feel, is a great place to be with Instagram Reels because they're not quite as saturated yet as TikTok. Though, if TikTok's your thing, that's great too. But short form video content, Instagram Reels, TikTok. Building an email list is always a great option if you can set up an automatic discount code that gets sent to your subscribers right when they join your email list, which you can do that through MailChimp. It's free up to, it used to be 2,000 subscribers, but they dropped it to 500 actually. I just found that out. But still, that's a lot. That's a lot of subscribers. So, there's a lot of different ways that you can help that listing along, but I don't recommend just funneling a bunch of money into ads right at the start. You guys know that I prefer to see a listing do well, and then you put the ad money behind a listing that's already doing well, because then that's already a listing that people like. It's already got a good track record with Etsy, and you know that the keywords on it are probably good to go because you're already getting sales. So you already know that it's optimized, or well optimized. So yeah, I'm a big fan of social media marketing over immediately putting it on sale, because if you're not getting, any views, it doesn't matter if it's on sale, if nobody can find it. And it doesn't matter if there's ad revenue behind it, if nobody's either is clicking on it anyway, or nobody's finding it in search. I would focus on getting your listing quality score up before you start trying to funnel money into it.
Absolutely. I just wanted to skip back to Lenore's question as well, because she was asking the difference between paying for the different types of ads as well. What's the opinion on paying for Etsy ads versus paying for Google, paying for Facebook and Instagram? And I'm going to say, if you don't know what you're doing with adverts, do not be paying for Google ads and Facebook ads and Instagram ads. These are advertising platforms that experts pay money on. Like
Yeah.
marketing, advertising experts pay a
And
load
you're
of money on
competing
these.
with them.
Exactly. They are complicated. You have to know who you're targeting, like really granularly. There's a word I'm trying to say, but you have to really figure out who it is that you're advertising to get the best for your money. Otherwise, most of us don't have enough of a clue about these ads, and we will be wasting our money. It's something I keep planning to look into, but I'm nervous about it because it is a big deal. I've done advertising for other businesses in the past, and it can be a money suck if you get it wrong.
Yeah.
For
And
ad.
I've done the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really tough. It's no advertising on the planet anymore is you pay money and you get sales. You can't just sit back and leave it. We spoke about this last week as well, I think, but I thought this was a good extra bit on the topic of which to be going for. Um, the probably the best sort of bank, the only one that you pay money for in your guaranteed sales actually is Etsy offsite ads, because you don't pay money till you get a sale. People might say at 15% or 12%, that's quite expensive. It's not actually, compared to what some of us have spent on advertising in the past. But that can give you we don't get much data on it, but at least you know where your ads are working. So that's helpful. Etsy ads, again, are not bad in that Etsy's doing all the difficult things for us. I preferred it when we had more control over them, but we don't have much control, which means everybody's on a pretty similar playing field. It's how good your listings are, and that's about all you've got to worry about. You choose which listings to advertise. That's about it, and well, how much money. But the big guys, if you don't know what you're doing, I would say to most of you, just don't just now, because it's really not easy.
Yeah. Jessica over on Facebook asked, so I know the basics of copyright infringement and 100% not doing anything with professional team stuff. What about making something in the colors of your local high school? Would I be able to do that and use the name of the town in my tag/titles if it's a public school or it's a public school system, if that makes any difference? There is no way for us to advise you on this because every school system is going to be different. You need to call your local board of education and ask them to put you on the right track because they own the rights to their colors and their mascot. Some of them might not care, but others might say, hey, you're profiting off of our school system and we're not making any money on that. And even at this point, in most cases, I say go to justanswer.com and pay a lawyer, but a lawyer isn't going to know the answer to that because it's going to be dependent on your specific school system, usually based on your city, and they're all going to have their own rules. So I don't feel comfortable even trying to advise you because there's no way that I would know. But call whatever your local school board is and see if they can start pointing you in the right direction.
Yeah, well, I have one piece of absolutely definitive advice that I'm comfortable giving because it's not legal or anything. If you are making something that you didn't create, if you know the color scheme are aiming for a certain people, or and you're trying to profit off of something that somebody else created in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
ask the permission of the person. It is copyright or IP infringing if you're trying to run off anything else that somebody else has created, a football team colours, anything like that. So ask the school. If the people that own the copyright set or the trademark say yes, absolutely, then you're fine. The school might not. The school might be happy, but not if you're doing it for profit. There could be anything, but yes, get permission rather than wondering about it. And even some of the big, it's not easy, but some of the big guys, like there are some individual creators who have permission to do Disney stuff, to do Lucasfilm stuff. It's possible. It's unlikely, but it is possible. So ask permission.
All right, I'm going to pop back over to YouTube. I'm going to try to alternate just because we have so many questions today. James asked, should we put commas or forward slashes or what are they called? Pipes in between keywords or leave them out? Definitely divide them up. You want to make them a little bit readable to your shoppers, but in terms of what to use, it doesn't really matter. Etsy kind of sees them all the same. Just I would use something that makes it look a little cleaner. Don't write a big long jumble of keywords. Break it up in a way that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, let's make it readable.
Yeah.
Etsy does actually advise commas, and there's a good reason for it. It's not against the slashes or the pipes, but the simple problem is in correct grammar, when you're writing a sentence, you put one word and the comma right next to it and a single space, and that's correct grammar, and search engines understand that. With your slashes or your pipes, you have to have a space either side of them, else the word would be whatever your keyword is, like slash, which is not a word that anyone's searching for. So you have to leave the spaces. So you're actually using up an extra space in your title. However, it can, I like, sometimes I think the pipes look kind of good to really separate out things. So it really depends what works. You're not going to get penalized for it, and you just remember that space. And very important, you didn't ask there, but people sometimes use dashes as well. If you don't leave the space, that can be seen as a negative, a minus. So yeah, don't do that. but yes, Etsy's not going to penalize you.
No. All right, I see that we have, let's see, Abdullah, Kaz, and I guess that's it over on YouTube. So we'll get to you guys in just a minute. We'll bump back to Facebook where Lynn asked, let's see. Oh, Lynn's got a lot of questions today. She's got 4 in here. Her first one is, Is it good to sell both physical and digital products in one shop if they have the same niche? I'm planning to sell different physical product types all in the same niche and all with free shipping. That's completely up to you. I think that if the target audience is the same, that it's not a big deal. If you're appealing to the same demographic, I don't see a problem with it all. Now, if you were selling, like I always use my example of, baby shower invitations and men's underwear, it might be a little weird and you should probably split those things up. But
Yeah,
if you're doing digital wall art and the same things, but they're printed out, then yeah, why not?
absolutely. I've got some friends who have very successful shops doing things like that, because then you have your physical, you can have your actual painting, the one of a kind thing that's the aspirational piece that people go, "Oh, I love that."
But
But
I
I can
can't
get the
afford
phone cover, and I can get this, and I get the digital download. So,
it.
and then they can become an avid collector, buy loads of them, and suddenly when they win the lottery, they come back and buy your big piece.
Yes. All right, let's see. Back over to YouTube. Abdullah asked, how to convert the visitor into real sales? Because of no reviews, visitor usually goes for other 5-star rated listings. Building a trust is quite difficult without reviews. So first, this question, I get this question a lot, and I'm sure Pam does too, how to turn visitors into sales. This question is positioned in a way that makes it sound like like it's not a person who's making a conscious decision to buy something out of need. We can't convert a human being into a sale. We need to diagnose why they're not making that purchase. We're not converting them. We're not, we're not doing anything to transform who they are and change, what we want to do is make sure that our listing is appealing to them in a unique way. So if they're not purchasing, why might that be? Well, they found your listing. So if you're getting visits, they're obviously finding it. So that's a good thing. We know that you obviously have optimized your listing in a way that people can find it. So we can rule that out. Next, I would look at your photos. Even if your photos are good, are they good when you type in keywords related to your product and you pull up all the other competitors and your listing is, beside all of them? Does your listing look as good as all of theirs? If you were to be compared, we'll say if you were doing print on demand and everybody else has all these unique mock-ups and they all look really nice, but you're just using the same default mock-up that like Printful or Printify gives you, but everybody else has made their own really nice ones with a site like Placeit, for example. Maybe that's what's turning off buyers. Is it your pricing? Is your price so low that people question the quality, or is it so high that people don't think that it's worth it? Are you clear enough about what you're selling? Are people getting to your listing and wondering, what the heck is this? You might think that it's clear because you know what you're selling, but is the thumbnail photo, is it too small? Can they not see it? Is it so big that they can't tell what it is because it's blown up too large? Do you not have enough details in your description to explain it? Is there any confusion about how to use it or the size of it or how to order or what the difference between it and other items in your shop? There's a lot of things that can be diagnosed just by taking a look at your listing and, not always focusing on the algorithmic part of it, because a lot of times it's not the algorithm it's not shunning you, especially if people are finding you.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to dive into that because it sounds like you think you've diagnosed the problem is that you don't have reviews yet. But it could be the case. Well, firstly, always got to talk about realistic expectations. So realistic, a lot of people will say people aren't buying, and when you dig into it, how many views have you actually got? And it'll be like 5 or 6, 10 or 20 views. Now, conversion on online retail things, people talk about it being about 2%. A lot of people do better, a lot of people do worse. But if you think around 2%, so for hundreds of views, you're expecting a few sales. You know, if you're not getting hundreds of views, you haven't got enough to diagnose anything or to have any problems. You need more views. That's your problem. I'm not going to say that some people won't be put off by a shop that doesn't have any reviews yet. But what you're saying is you think they're looking and seeing you have no reviews and going and buying from somebody else that has 5 stars, which suggests to me that your item doesn't have anything different. There's nothing special about it. So you're competing one to one. Make a better listing. Be better. So
Yeah.
people can't go to somebody else. They have to come to you. And there are so many buyers. I mean, there used to be threads on the forums and everything. People would be like, I want to be someone's first sale. People, customers actually like being your first sale as well. There's people that don't. That's true, but other people do, and other people don't mind. Your first sale and your first reviews will happen. There's kind of no way to hurry it up though. These things take time.
There are other trust building elements as well. One thing that I would recommend, if you haven't already, is one of the main things that makes me not trust a shop and makes me nervous about buying from a shop that doesn't have reviews, or that only have, like 1 or 2 reviews, is if they haven't told me anything about who they are as a person. Because I shop on Etsy to shop from people. It's a handmade marketplace. And even if I'm buying print on demand or digital or something that isn't, handmade, I still want to know the backstory about that person and what inspired them. And a lot of people leave out essential elements like their about section, the about section slideshow, or your shop owner photo. They'll just stick a photo of their logo in there.
Actually, so this might be a good time for almost dropping a little secret, because we might be able to give you some more insights into this very soon. We've got a super secret thing going on.
Yeah,
And
we'll have to rush through questions because we are piled if we're going to also have time
yeah.
to do that.
Oh no, I'm just quickly
Yeah.
teasing. If you want to know about building trust, keep your eye out on Tuesday, and we might have some more ways to help you with that.
Oh, okay. Okay. You want to wait until, okay. Okay. But
Oh yeah,
we can probably still mention the thing tonight or today.
yeah.
But yeah, Tuesday we'll have even more. Um, okay. So let's see. Back to Lynn. Lynn gives us the best questions, but I can't always answer them. She wants to know, in regards to using chat GDP or GPT, I always think GDP, chat GPT for product descriptions or blog posts, or using AI sites like DALL-E 2 for images. Is there a way that we could double check that it didn't copy the results from another website? So images, they're absolutely copying from other websites, because there are no regulations on where AI generated images are sourcing from.
There are no regulations yet.
Yes, they're
It's
working on them.
happening. Yes.
So I suspect that probably very soon we're going to begin seeing limitations on what can be sold on platforms like Etsy that are strictly utilizing AI art and things like that. So there is no way to check, and they are stealing, because there are no regulations right now, but they're working on it.
Seemed I might be wrong, but when I signed up for DALL-E, I'm pretty sure they weren't giving a commercial license to the
To
images.
resell anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would be careful with that. But Chat GPT, I haven't personally played with, but we've been doing a little bit of research on it. I mean, it's not, when it comes to text, it's not word for word taking anything from anywhere else. It's not like word for word stealing a whole. If you're describing your products, it's utilizing a prompt that you enter, and you have to do a little bit of work to perfect it. So I guess I don't see anything wrong with it, but you can't just use AI generated descriptions, because they're not always going to be right. You're going to have to do some polishing. But for the images, I wouldn't touch that if I were you. If you're using it as a springboard, because I see a lot of people who will take AI generated images, but then they'll take them and completely paint over them in Photoshop and just use them as something to create an idea. That is a little bit different. In terms of text, it should be fine, but use with caution.
Yeah. I think I've seen some people have done some great work with it, getting descriptions and things, but you have to go in and it's like you're talking to a child, like, "Give me a description for that. That's great, but can you change that bit, and can you add this, and can you do" so you're gonna have to proofread it. It's not doing the work for you. It's like
Yeah,
having a not too great member of staff that you have to babysit through everything.
exactly,
And
exactly.
I would always kinda at the minute in time, what I'm seeing out of them, I would always go in and put in some lines yourself because they don't quite talk like a human, they're missing some bits, so
Mhm.
go in and change some bits, but they can definitely help. I'm impatiently waiting. Every time I try and get onto it, it's not got room, so I haven't had a shot yet either.
All right. Kaz over on YouTube. Hi, love you both. Love you too. I've got a question that I've been hearing different opinions on. Can I use the same keywords in my title and my tags? Yes, you should be.
Yes. That
Absolutely.
one's easy. Yes, Etsy tells us. If your superstar keyword, put it in your title and your tags. That tells Etsy this is exactly what my item is. Do it.
Yes. I always say all the words from title go down in tags, but not everything from tags needs to be in title because you get more tag space than you get title space. And by the time you fill out like 8 tags, you're going to be out of ideas. And you're just going to be typing in gift for dad, gift for mom. You're going to be
Yeah.
just putting whatever you can. So, yeah. All right. Um,
I like
Isabella
the ones
over
we
on,
can answer quickly. They're good.
yeah,
That we
I like the ones that we can just snap through.
yeah.
Um, Let's see. This is not one of them, though. Isabella said, "My shop is a year old. I sell cake smash, birthday outfits, and seasonal outfits for Easter, Christmas, etc. To be honest, I rushed into this niche without doing a proper dive into the numbers, and now I'm learning so much thanks to you. I realize that very few people search for my items, and competition is high. I'm struggling to find products with less competition in my niche. Can you help?" So I don't believe that there is no one looking for cake smash birthday outfits and Easter and Christmas outfits for babies. I do not believe that at all. I believe that you are not searching or researching in a way that is giving you the correct niche. Who does cake smash birthdays? Uh, and who's going to primarily, who's going to host cake smash birthdays? Photographers. Are you targeting parents and just trying to find as many ways as you can to describe an Easter outfit, a Christmas outfit, a birthday cake smash outfit? Or are you targeting infant photographers, infant photography props, infant photography outfit, infant photography dress, infant, Christmas photography dress? These are photo op opportunities. Now, Christmas, you're not going to have searches right now anyway because it's not Christmas time. Easter, you're actually coming up on Easter. So you'll get searches for these seasonal items in the season, but birthdays are all year round. I would stop trying to find a million ways to describe cake smash birthday outfit. Focus on things related to photography because that's who's buying that stuff.
That's it. So often we get hung up on what we think the item is rather than who's buying it or what people are using it for. So photography props, yes, absolutely look into that. And also, look, we don't just have to be Etsy sellers. Are there photography studios near you? Can you go and introduce yourself to them and get known there,
Yes.
and actually sell them physically? Other things is to be looking into, what else can these things be used for? If it's birthday outfits and things, what kind of things are people looking for? It doesn't have to be a cake smash birthday outfit. That can be what your pictures are showing and everything, but what are people dressing their kids up for their birthdays? Are they unicorns? Are they fairies? Are they, look at what are the cool things. I, rather than think you're a cake smash outfit, you're doing awesome dress up outfits for kids. What situations, what people, who can you sell these to? Yeah, I think there's definitely a market for that.
Oh, I know there is because I was just shopping for that stuff for I did for my daughter when she was tiny and I just did for my niece as well. It's just, you have to think about the way that the shoppers are searching for those types of products, and they might not be searching for cake smash birthday outfits. It might be the photographers, or like Pam said, maybe they're just looking for a birthday party outfit. So I would just try to open that net up a little bit that you're casting with your keywords, and try to experiment with some new things.
Yeah, one sort of quickish way to dig into different ideas is if you use the eRank's keyword tool and you click on tags or both, you can look and see what tags the top 100 listings for the thing you've thought of, what other tags are they using? And that might send you down, stop thinking cake smash and see what other things are they using, and that might give you some more ideas just to get you started anyway.
Absolutely. All right. We're finally getting caught up, and we might have time to reveal the cool thing. Aldrich over on YouTube said, expiring listings. Is it better to update the title slash and or tags and renew the listing, or is it better to copy the listing and create new title and tags? I would definitely continue using the same listing. It's got a history, any sales at all. That's a listing quality score. That's what Etsy uses in order to kind of assess the interest in that listing. If people have bought it in the past, giving you positive reviews, those are all signals that you're sending to Etsy that say, hey, people like this. So I think it completely depends on how long has that listing been sitting around. Is it a Christmas listing and it's not selling right now just because it's not Christmas time? Then I wouldn't worry about updating the tags. If they were working last Christmas, leave them alone, because odds are they'll work this upcoming Christmas again. But if it's something not seasonal and it has gone those 4 weeks and expired, sure, update your tags and titles. Experiment a little bit. Experiment with your thumbnail photos. I know that sounds weird, but sometimes a slight change in your thumbnail photo, a slightly different angle of your product is enough to take a photo that everybody ignored and turn it into a listing that people click on.
Yeah, as Starla mentioned there, the seasonal, before you decide your listing isn't working, look at all your keywords. You can use the rank checker on eRank to see if you're still ranking for those keywords. And then if you're still ranking, look at the seasonality. It might not be a Christmas item, but some of the keywords might be a little bit seasonal.
Mhm.
I actually just had a ton of orders for one of my listings that was a bestseller over Christmas. And that listing I created like a year and a half ago, and it did very little until the run up to Christmas. And suddenly it was in the right place at the right time. This is again something we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, I think. But basically, the main keyword that it was ranking for, nobody was searching for until October. The last week in October, suddenly you can see on eRank the graph went zoop, and so did my views and sales on that. I got a ton of views and sales, and then the following week, Etsy started going, hang on, Pam's listing's quite cool. Let's try her for a. It was dog bookmark to start with, and then it got shown for corgi gifts, and then it got shown for all sorts of things, until I was ranking for things that I hadn't been able to rank for before. So there was nothing wrong with my listing. It just needed that little bit of momentum when people started searching for the easy keyword. So this time of year, I wouldn't be kind of ditching listings and saying they're not working. If you can make more than one of the item, copy the listing, create a new title and tag, and keep the other one there as well, if you can have more than one listing.
Yeah. Experiment, A/B split test.
Yep.
Back over to Facebook. Sylvia asked, is there a problem with sales and discount codes on Etsy today? Previous sales have allowed to pick which items are included, and today it defaults to all items in the shop. I've heard that today as well. I heard that from someone.
Yeah, I went to look when you said it, and then I realized I've not run a sale in like years, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like. So yeah, I've heard that might be a thing. Could be a test Etsy's doing, could be a glitch. Drop them an email and ask what's going on.
Yeah, YouTube's testing today. I don't know if those of you in the chat right now are seeing that it's kind of like on Twitch, how everybody's username is a different color. You guys are all pretty colors right now.
Yeah, everyone on Facebook should go over and have a look at the pretty colors on YouTube.
I think your name is Burek. I'm a newbie. I have some views, but I just have 3 sales in my first month. That's actually really good. And I'm trying to find a way to get more visits. Etsy ads have like $100 per day, but it just spends $10 or something like that. Why does Etsy not spend daily Etsy ads limits? Well, I think we talked about it a bit at the beginning of the stream, but I would not be funneling, for one, I wouldn't be funneling a bunch of money into ads starting out because you've only got 3 sales. Let those listings do a little bit of their own work for a while. You don't want to funnel a bunch of money in order to attempt to get those listings to take off. It's just not the best strategy. And for two, setting an ads threshold doesn't necessarily mean that Etsy's going to eat up all that money. I mean, sometimes they do. I've seen cases where people say that their ad spend gets used in like 10 minutes. But
Yeah.
Pam, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, you actually are sort of getting feedback there. If you're telling Etsy you're happy to spend all that money and they're only spending $10, firstly, be grateful. They might be spending $100 a day and not getting you any sales. So they're saving you money, but it's telling you they don't have enough people to show just now. So that could be that your SEO isn't quite on point. You don't have enough items. You're not aiming for popular enough keywords that, people aren't searching for the kind of thing in enough numbers to spend that money. And it's not unusual. And this is another thing we actually spoke about in the Facebook group. I can't remember who'd asked. The fact that they can't spend all your money doesn't mean necessarily that your keywords aren't competitive enough. It could be the opposite. There could be too much competition and they can't show you because somebody else is ads doing better and they're showing their ad before they're showing yours. So you've got what you're being told is that's all that Etsy can find to show your ad for just now. I'm totally with Starla. You're only a month into it. I would work on building your shop. I'd work on getting more listings, work on building your social media, work on building everything, and don't try and worry too much about ads. Yeah, it's a good thing they're not taking all your money. So sort of be grateful. Yeah.
Um,
$100 a day. That's terrifying.
yeah. Back over to Facebook, Belinda asked, do you pay twice for a copy of a listing in different sections? Yes. It's 20 cents per listing, even if it's a copy.
Yeah. Yes. If you copy your listing and you're having more than one listing, absolutely. My head just couldn't figure out what that that meant for a minute.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Back over to Facebook from the Wednesday post, and then we'll hit YouTube again. Lynn asked, for the main listing photo, would you recommend using just one mock-up for all of your listings so it would look more cohesive and well thought of when someone is looking at your Etsy shop page? Now, that's a personal preference, but I personally am not a fan of entering a shop and it just being the exact same mock-up over and over again. The goal of a mock-up is to make it seem like it's not a mock-up. And if it looks identical to all the other mock-ups, then I'm going to know it's a mock-up. I would try to change up the mock-ups a little bit, try to, it's okay to use the same mock-up for a couple of them, but I would try to shuffle them up a little bit, and you can still be cohesive. Just, if your aesthetic is, light backgrounds with, a little touch of greenery, then you could put, like a little succulent on one with the shirt. And then there's another one you could do like some little vines or some leaves, whatever your overall shop theme is. But you can absolutely change it up and still be cohesive.
Yeah. We spoke a little about trust earlier, and for me, if I go to a shop, say I'm looking to buy a dress or something, and it's got 16 colors, I'm like, oh, I wonder what the other colors will look like. If I flick through the colors and it's all identical, but just changed the colors in the exact same pose, the thing doesn't move at all, then I'm like, well, I don't trust that I'm seeing what that dress is going to look like. I trust I'm seeing a photoshopped mock-up image.
Yeah.
So for me, that's less trust. And I am hearing from marketing people and photographers and things that people are looking for less polished pictures, not good ones. There's no excuse for having bad pictures nowadays. Your mobile phone can take a great picture, but they don't want them so polished that it looks completely bland, like anyone could have made it. They would prefer maybe a little variation in your shop to feel that I'm seeing what this item's going to be. I mean, I get many of you have to use mock-ups, but yeah, I wouldn't use the exact identical one.
Yeah. All right. We're going to attempt to get through these last ones, but I know quite a few are rolling in. Burek asked, what is the best number for listings on our shop? At least 10, maybe. There's no magic number. None at all. I've seen shops succeed with a great product with only one listing. I personally, if I were you, I would say 10 looks nice. You know, if you go to a shop and there's nice, 10 nice little listings all lined up, that looks good, but there's no magical number.
Yeah, there used to be a myth, you'll probably hear it, people will repeat it because people like repeating what they've heard, that you must have 100 listings in your shop.
Mhm.
Absolutely rubbish. Although a load of people will tell you their shop did better when they got to 100 listings. And there's nothing magical in the algorithm that goes, whoa, they've got 100, I'm going to start pushing them. What happens? Completely stealing Starla's analogy here and everything, but the more listings you have, it's your fishing rods in the pond. It's the more chances to catch something. It's the more options to practice, to try different keywords, to try slightly different items, to try different photography. So I always kind of find, especially when you're starting out, it can be good to build up quite a few listings and see what's working best. You get a much better idea. And then if you want to, you can cull some. But yeah, for a brand new shop, if you don't have a massive following and you haven't got a load of sales, I think yes, 10 will look nice when people come and visit your shop, but always be trying to do better. So yeah.
Ooh, wow. We'll have to speed round these. They are piling in. Did we just now get like shown on YouTube? Did we just land in people's feeds? Oh, my Gilligan. I have a sort of silly question. If my listing is spotted on Etsy for one of my common words, like framed wall sign, does that mean my other listings with the same keywords will be spotted?
Well, spotted, first of all, just means if it's through the eRank monitor,
Yeah.
that just means it's a rank check. eRank has just searched the Etsy API and seen your listing there. There is no guarantee that another one, if you use framed wall art, it's likely that you could do okay for it because it's a keyword that's obviously a level of competition that your shop's able to show up for. However, if you've had a listing, like I just said with my dog bookmark that suddenly was shown for gift for corgi lovers, it's doing better because that one listing was doing well and getting loads of sales. So if your framed wall art sign has done great and got a load of sales, it has a little more, as it were, ranking power. So it's possible that other listings won't rank for that keyword, but it could be a keyword that your shop can have some level of authority for.
All right. Especially since you mainly create wall art. So
Yeah, if that's what you make, then
yeah.
congratulations. That's what you want to be seen for.
All right. Do we have the speed round banner?
We might have.
Ready? Everybody. All right.
I think I might. We ready? Is it
Yes.
going to
Okay.
show up? Yes, it did.
Yay. Oh, it's not
Oh, it's
running
got a
across.
crawler.
That's
Oh,
okay. All right, so we're gonna fly through our next ones as quickly as we can since there's a lot of you between Facebook and YouTube. Angie asked over on Facebook, any way to fix a listing that I touched? I changed tags, titles to a listing that was doing great. I thought it was copied. Now I'm at the worst sales ever. Unless you were tracking with the eRank track changes tool, and if you don't remember what words you took out, then yeah, don't ever touch the tags and titles of a listing that's doing well, ever, ever, ever.
Yes, for this very reason. Although I did just have some, this is a test I'm planning to do, but I did just have someone contact me that they had made the changes. They said the exact same thing. Things were going bad. Can I change them back? And they changed them back, and they messaged me like 2 days later going, "It's fantastic. I'm back." So that was good. If you didn't track it in tracked changes, also in eRank, if you do a listing audit for your listing, you should be able to see, scroll right down to the bottom of the listing audit. It'll show you the past sales and what keywords you had at the time it sold. You should get some data there. So definitely I would try changing back and see. Might just be the time of year though.
Yeah. All right. Maria on YouTube. Hi, why does the new Etsy app show which listings you're getting views on? This is why I still use the old app, because the new app is not done and it kind of sucks. So I would recommend using both apps until they fix the new app. It's
Yeah.
not great yet.
I don't understand how anyone can do all their stuff on the apps. Use your desktop for dealing
Yeah.
with your. I just use the apps for a quick look.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awful. We keep saying because the new app isn't done yet. How many years is that?
It's been like 2 or a year and a half, something like that.
It's been a while.
Yeah. All right. Back to YouTube. If trying keyword phrases in the bulk keyword tool, which attributes would you prioritize as most important? Search, clicks, click-through rate, competition, Google search, or search trend. So that's like saying, okay, I'm going to bake a cake. What ingredient is the most important? The flour, the eggs, or the sugar? They're all important. You have to be able to weigh them against each other. I don't care about Google, but search, important. Knowing if people are actually clicking on that product when they search for it, that's pretty important. If everybody's searching but then nobody clicks, then that tells me that nobody's actually interested in the results that they're seeing. If the competition is too high, even if the searches are okay, then it's probably going to be really hard to be seen. You have to weigh these things against each other. None of them are, you shouldn't just look at one. You have to weigh them against each other. And it is going to feel like you don't know which keywords to pick, because it's an experiment. You pick and you test, and then you say, did that work or did it not work? Okay, it didn't work. And then I would say, if after like 4 weeks you're not seeing any results at all, okay, well, that didn't work, let's try something new. And then you try some different keywords.
Yeah, it's an experiment, and these are just to help you identify things to experiment with. No one can get it right
Yeah.
first time. Honestly, I look at search and competition in conjunction with each other the most important to line up what I'm interested in, and then I look at clicks and click-through rate, and I don't care about Google because the chance of my stuff ranking on the first page of Google is tiny.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yudi over on YouTube. My shop has been open for 4 years and it was in good standing, but for some reason started to die little by little. What can I do to make it work again? Well, you got to consider that 2019, 2020, and part of 2021, people were stuck at home with stimulus checks and they were spending a lot of money online because they had no choice. So you likely did see a couple really, really great years on Etsy. And that doesn't mean that your shop has died. That means that Etsy's kind of gone back to normal. You can always reevaluate your thumbnail images, start a social media marketing campaign, double check the keywords that you're using in your listings to make sure that they're still being searched, introduce new products. You can experiment with some ads on some of the listings that were selling well back then, just to see if, maybe you could increase their reach a little bit, since that they've worked in the past. There's a lot of different things that you can do.
Yep, and check those keywords. Check what worked before, because people might have stopped searching, well, might be searching by a slightly different term. In 6 years, things change. And always be experimenting with slightly different lines. Do people want things in a different material? Do they want it cheaper? Do they want it more expensive? Do they fancy different colors? You know, always be experimenting. That should be like our motto or something, shouldn't it? Our logo.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know everybody wants sure answers, but that's just unfortunately not how SEO works. And anybody who tells you that they have some magic hack or secret or surefire answers on something that absolutely is proven to sell, they're lying. It's just not how it works, which brings me to Carson's question. When it comes to digital products for 2023, what is your top product to sell this year? That's what eRank's for. Head over to eRank.com. I would recommend hopping into the Trend Buzz tool. If you hit the Trends tab, hit the Trend Buzz tool and sort by, I think that most digital files are usually in SVG and paper and party supplies, because I don't think that we have a digital exclusive. So find, depending on what you want to make, look through maybe the wall art. I guess that would be in home and living. Just sort through some of the categories and look at what's trending. We don't have trends memorized, God, that they change every month. So I do have a video on my channel talking about the top trends of 2023, but that
Yep.
just skims the surface.
Yeah, same. You should jump on what me and Starla, our videos on the top trends, because we dug into what's going to be trending for the year, but that's still no guarantee. And it depends, what kind of digital products. And I wouldn't be necessarily just jumping on trends. Look at what your niche, what your people are into, because most of us don't completely change everything about our life based on the trends. I'm very not trend. I've stayed still in the 80s since the 80s, and now it's come around. I'm in fashion finally. So
Yeah, find yourself a good niche, but don't just chase what the hot trend is, because you'll burn yourself out. Pick a niche that you're passionate about and create a business in order to serve people, not to just chase the hottest trend. If you can integrate a trend into what you are passionate about making, then that's great too. Let's see, Burek, should I render or mock-ups or real photos? Because I use my own photos. I'm trying to find the best, but my competitors are using renders and mock-ups. It's completely up to you. That's personal preference. In my print-on-demand shop, I do a combination. We do mock-ups, but then we also order some of our physical product samples and do photo shoots with them. It's up to you. They all work. It just depends on what you want to do and what your limitations are. If you've got good photos that are going to match your mock-ups, combinations are great though. And I know lots of sellers who exclusively do photos of their own products. Just
yeah, if you can do good photos and all your competitors are just doing mock-ups, you've got a unique selling point.
Yeah.
You've got something different, but experiment.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't fear real photos. I would much prefer to see real photos,
Yeah.
at least some of the time.
All right. Ismail, is that your name? I have a bestseller list with its history, but okay, I assume you mean listing with its history, but over time its views dropped and its returns to searches. My bad review rate is low. I've never had bad reviews for this listing. Can you give me an idea why this is happening? What am I missing? Could using some of the same tags as these bestsellers and new listings cause this? No, that's not the issue. If views are dropping, keep in mind that it's not the holiday season anymore and people aren't shopping a lot right now. Sales always drop at the beginning of the year and then they slow down a lot during summer. June and July on Etsy are like the slowest seasons historically, and then they start to ramp back up August, September, and then October, November, and December are the best months. So it could be any number of things. You might want to double check the searches on the keywords that you're using. Or it could just be because people aren't shopping as much right now.
Yeah, I would definitely check you're still ranking for the keywords, check people are still searching for the keywords. and check what the competition looks like. Are their prices different? Are their photographs better? Do the listings just look better? But my biggest, I agree with Starla totally there, is it's not Christmas anymore, is generally a good reason why things are dropping.
Yeah. All right. We've got way more questions than I think we're going to be able to get through. Abigail said, short answer is that she created a listing for Valentine's Day and it's doing great, but she's worried because the listing could be used for other holidays, but she put Valentine's Day in the tags and title, and she wants to know if she should copy it without the Valentine's Day tags and titles, or leave it. But
are people searching and clicking on your listing for those specific holidays? Then if so, then yes, leave it, perhaps copy it and try different things. But
yeah,
it,
it's up
I,
to you, really.
I think we gave the answer though earlier on when Starla got her stone face on and said, "If it's working, don't touch it."
Yeah.
That's the answer to everybody. I can't see that question just now, so I can't bring it up. But yes, if it's working, the only thing you should be doing to the listing is to copy it.
Yeah. All right, Sandra on YouTube. How to find long tail keywords. I put ads for this month. There's favorites, but still no sales. I would like a critique. Where can I get it? Well, unfortunately, with thousands and thousands of users, we don't offer critiques, but long tail keywords, eRank.com. Start with a narrow search. If you sell maybe you sell wire and gemstone wrapped necklaces, start by searching necklaces and then scroll down to the keyword suggestions, and you'll be able to find tons of long tail keywords. That's kind of what eRank does. So just start with a nice narrow search, something that's, or a nice broad search, I mean, something that's, very vague. If you sell, graphic t-shirts, start with t-shirts and work your way down until you start identifying keywords that could be related to your product.
Exactly. Using something like the keyword tool, scroll down to, I think it's called related keywords, but you'll see a list of keywords, and then you can click on the ones you like the look of and dig more into them and see if they're any good. And right, we can't give critiques, but if you go to the Facebook group, which is linked in the comments of this video, and you can ask in the group, and there's lots of wonderful people who do like to look at people's shops and help them out. The more specific the question is, the better. Rather than just say, "What am I doing wrong?" You could maybe give some more info to the people and they can help you even more. And yeah, hopefully hang around in the group because there's loads of awesome people there.
All right. Linda on Facebook. How effective do you think it is to post something new daily? It's not sustainable. A lot of people will say like, "Oh, that's the secret Etsy hack," when in reality, you're just putting more fishing poles out into the water and you're increasing the rules of probability. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're increasing, any earning potential there, but it does mean that you're going to be spending a lot of time. So I don't find it to be a sustainable strategy.
Yeah, it's something I do because I'm not as good at Starla doing the social media and driving people. If I'm launching a range, I'll launch them about once a day. If I've made up 10 things, I won't launch them all at once because I can't drive the traffic. I launch them one at a time. So they get a little boost in search and they each get their chance to be seen. So I posted, it gets a boost in search, it dies down, and then the next day, the next one. But I would not be doing it every single day. No. And there's nothing in the algorithm that's going to go, "Hey guys, Linda's posted for 30 days in a row. We should give her some sales." That's that's not a secret hack to getting things right.
All right. So we're at 4 o'clock on the dot. Hey, can you get Taylor off the bus? Okay. I can go for 5 more minutes if you're okay with it, but we will, in order to catch up with all these, we will have to answer them in like 2 seconds flat. Are you up
Right.
for it?
Got it. Yep. Proper
Debbie,
speed
are you up for hanging out for like 5 more minutes? All right. Burek asked, is there any limit for using render and mockups for physical products? No. Otherwise, print on demand services would not be able to do anything on Etsy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see. Does Etsy make more profit than eBay?
Not. I haven't looked at the number since last year. Not yet, but Etsy's snapping on their heels.
Yeah. Is Etsy owned by eBay?
Nope.
Does eBay searches filter Etsy products?
Nope.
Does a trademark infringement affect your star seller status?
Yep.
Yep.
You can, if you annoy Etsy enough, you can lose your ability to ever be a star seller.
Yeah. So don't do that. If you didn't invent it, don't sell it. Carson said that we're both beautiful. Thank you.
Oh.
Writing some tags on bestseller lists and new listings in the same store, does it affect the display of current best-selling listings and new listings?
Yeah, if you're making new listings, not really. What can happen, I spoke about that boost when you make a new listing. It could jump up for a day and overtake your best-selling listing in the search, but Etsy's more clever than that, and it'll if your new listing's better than your old listing, then it'll rank higher. If your current listing's better than your new listing, then it will rank higher. They'll take a few days to fight it out, and then it will sort itself out. The algorithm's cleverer than us.
All right. Sandra, I'm making jewelry, earrings. I don't understand how to find my niche and incorporate it in titles. MCM clay earrings, for example. That's your niche. You just said what your niche was. Clay jewelry. I would start with clay jewelry, colorful jewelry. Think of the style. 90s, 80s. Usually, if you're doing colorful things, 90s and 80s would be cool. Neon jewelry, rave jewelry, dance jewelry, club jewelry, festival jewelry. You've already stated your niche.
Yep. An eRank keyword tool to dig in and find more keywords.
Absolutely. All right. Do older listings tend to sell more than recent ones? It's not necessarily the age. It's the listing quality. What
Yeah.
what has
Listings that
happened?
sell more tend to sell more.
Yes. Listing, if it's older, but because it's older, it's had more people clicking it, buying it, leaving reviews on it, then yeah, it's definitely gonna sell more because Etsy's gonna know to recommend it to more people. If you just listed something and it has no sales, then though you do get a slight boost in search for an unknown period of 60 to 90 days, depending on the item, then, it's Etsy doesn't have a track record for it yet. So yeah, I think that's it. I think we did it.
Did we do it? Yes. And
Okay. Do you
Debbie
want to
says we're off
mention?
the speed round, which probably means that Debbie's fingers are on fire from trying to type up what we're saying. So good job, Debbie.
So over the last few weeks, we've been teasing something really, really cool. I'm going to pop it into the live chat over on YouTube, and I'm also going to pop it into the Facebook chat. Basically, we did a survey at eRank with Etsy shoppers while they were shopping. And we asked over 1,000 Etsy shoppers some really cool questions like, how much do you actually care about a star seller badge? How much do you care about the quality of people's photos? How important are product descriptions to you? What makes a buyer trust you? So this is all things that in that link I just provided, you guys can learn a little bit more about. And then this upcoming Tuesday, me and Pam on our YouTube channels, which that's Pam Duthie and Starla Moore, you can watch some videos where we're actually going to deep dive into this data. And are you providing tips in yours too? I'm providing weaving
Oh,
tips.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes, we've got this data and we're going to talk about it and hopefully help you for how to use it. But yeah, it's awesome, cool, lots of insights from actual real buyers, which I was going to say you can't buy. You can. It's really expensive, but you don't have to. eRank bought it.
Yes. All right. So mine, I went ahead and put mine and Pam's channels and Pam's channel. Go subscribe to us. Keep an eye out for those videos on Tuesday. Mine includes a big fat freebie for anybody who has been asking themselves, how the heck do I do Etsy SEO? That's going to be actually included with that video. So that's really exciting. And you guys are going to learn a ton from this. Nobody else has this data, so you guys are going to be the first to know about it. It's going to be great. I hope that you guys actually like it, because sometimes when we do nerdy things like this, I think to myself, only we will think that this is cool, but this is useful stuff that you guys can actually apply to your businesses.
Yeah, guys, you definitely want to check it out. We've been teasing about this forever because we've been excited. We've been sitting on this data and we've not been allowed to talk about it, so now we can.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out, and